Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another movie review. I just recently had the chance to see a Madea family funeral, and of course this is the last Madea film that will ever be made. And it leaves a lot of things up in the air at the very end, and I'm not going to say what they are, but if you're a fan of Madea like I am, you'll think, these things are never going to come to a real resolution. But in the mind of the viewer, I think that we all know what's going to happen with these characters, and it's more of a reality check, and the fact that sometimes in life there aren't any happy endings, and it's rather stark when you think about it. And it actually comes down to the fact of the matter that when it comes to really wanting to repent of sins that you've committed, it's done on a voluntary basis. No one can force you to change yourself. You have to do it on your own accord. And that's one thing that is rather intriguing about this particular movie. It's hard-hitting, and of course there is a bit of a commentary on police officers, which I thought was kind of funny, and I hate to agree with it, unfortunately. But this is coming from a white person's perspective, so bear with me and don't flame me. But even and I love the police, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I think that a lot of police officers are rather hectorish. And I can say this from experience because I have dealt with discrimination. Oh my gosh. Shock, right? But back in the day when I used to live in Martinsville, and of course people think, oh my god, you lived in a very racist part of Indiana. Do your research and brush up on your history books, because I'm sorry, but one incident does not a racist town make. Okay? Just saying. I was born in Bloomington, and a lot of people think, snoot. But Bloomington is my hometown, but I consider Martinsville is the place that I grew up. So, yes, that too is one of my hometowns, and I feel like it's my responsibility to defend it. Not all of us are a bunch of backwoods rednecks. You're going to run into those wherever you go. That being said, I'm going to tell you a story. Very, very short story. It's kind of sidetracked from the film. But back in the day when I used to live in Martinsville, I had a Martinsville license plate, and I cannot tell you how many times Plainfield cops would actually pull me over, and they would say, your passenger light's out, and I have a bug, so everybody knows that '06 onward up have electrical issues just due to the fact that the connectivity is really, really bad. Of course, I didn't know this, Dad didn't know this. We were all in the dark. Nonetheless, they all do the same thing. They all pull me over. And now I experienced it in Danville. It was the same thing. I thought, well, it wasn't prejudicial. They actually let me go, but I was on my way home from Hamilton, Chicago, with my friend, going through the sticks in Danville, and they pulled me over, and they said, you realize you ran a red light? I thought, oh, God. Go to a Dunkin' Donuts. You have better things to do. Actually, they didn't. And what was even worse is they actually drove in front of me, and they kept the watch the entire time that I was driving home, which, had they actually stopped me again, that would have been considered entrapment. And anyways, I just think that some officers have a superiority complex and need to keep their anger in check. And I don't know, it's a very controversial subject, but I'm glad that Madea covers this, and it does so in such a way that, yes, it's done with humor, but unfortunately, these are the times we're living in, and even people like me, if you grew up in a place that had an incident concerning the KKK, people look down their nose at you and they think that you're the worst ever, that you're a part of it. And no, I wasn't. Yeah, sure, maybe a black man whistled at a white woman, got in trouble, there was a rally. It's not where the KKK started. It was in Kokomo. Do your research, look it up. It's true. I can tell you this from experience. And I have been discriminated against most of my life because of this. People, they look at my past and where I was from, and they don't look at me. So I understand how my fellow blacks feel in many cases, and it's annoying, and it really irritates me. I'm sorry I got a little bit emotional there, but we are not the sum of our parts, and it just shows that nothing is really black and white when it's concerning prejudice and just how screwed up we are. But nonetheless, it's really a great film. I think it's one of the best Madea films, and I would rank it up there as one of my tops because it's very funny. Of course, it has that running gag, and the whole thing with Aunt Bam becoming legal with her marijuana, that actually didn't start until Boo. And I thought, oh great, they kept the continuity of that, so I had to fill my friend in because he's never seen a Madea film. It was his first Madea film, and he loved it. But it also made me homesick because I'm a Southern girl, and I don't know if you can tell, when I get tired, the drawl will come out. And yeah, I do say y'all, but I do have a lot of that Southern flair. I have a lot of that overly polite nature that was ingrained with me from the time I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And it actually brought a lot of that to mind. And as I said before, the plot is superb, and it deals with very, very difficult subject, especially in, please don't flame me, but not every black person does this, but a lot of black people do. And Tyler is actually exposing this for what it is. He is laying it out in very elementary terms in the mask of humor, and that's why I like it. And it deals with a subject matter that is rather taboo in other films, and it's very funny. It's funny, and it's very poignant as well. And of course it deals with death, and having dealt with this myself but in a different fashion, death actually reveals who you can trust. And I'm not going to go into why, but if you want me to speak on that in a later video, and by all means, I will definitely do it because no one else is going to talk about it. And I am intimately familiar with how death can reveal whom you can and cannot trust. And boy, is it an eye-opener. Oy vey. But anyways, the film, 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, hands down. One of the best Madea films ever made. It's very, very funny. Of course, he has the running gag of his voice dropping, which I think is utterly hilarious. Of course, the whole fourth wall break of Joe talking about Madea actually being a dude underneath his dress, and of course Madea threatens him, and she says, well, I'll show you how much of a dude I am underneath this dress if you want to see. We'll fight. Yeah, Madea throws all the punches when she feels like her reputation is being attacked, and it's actually quite funny, and I highly recommend it to all people who are fans of the franchise. And it's bittersweet, but it's a fitting end to a long time running franchise, and I'm thinking that Tyler actually knows when to quit, because I'm pretty sure he's getting plenty of capital from the plays, which are probably more accurate and funnier. I've never seen a Tyler Perry play, which I hope I can in the near future, because I love Tyler, and I think that he is tremendous, and he is, in a way, he's a preacher, because he teaches and he shows just the fact that people can change, people can repent, and then there are those who are stuck in their old sinful ways, and nothing that you do or say can actually change any of that. They have to have the volition. Of course, I already went through that, but nonetheless, I still think that this is the best one ever, and it should be enjoyed. Of course, the bloopers at the end are the best thing about the whole film. It's quite hilarious, but beyond that, it's an outstanding movie. It's just funny and very powerful, and just a very spirit-filled film that challenges a lot of questions that are in our society. So it's extremely timely, and I think it really opens conversation, which I think is important. I think that's what Tyler's trying to do with these movies. But that's all I have to say about Madea. So until next time, live on, prosper. Ciao, Tootsie.